Welcome to the LynnCAM TV Show, a show which focuses on local organizations, municipalities, and nonprofits. Here in the city of Lynn, I'm Sean Donahue. Here with me today, some of the primary leadership from Hayley's Hope, as well as Mary Tang, a mental health counselor over at the Lynn Community Health Center. Ladies, I just want to thank you for being here. Today's subject matter is suicide prevention, specifically among teens. Hayley's Hope is an organization that was developed in part by these two ladies, as well as a plethora of people who loved Hayley and unfortunately suffered from a teen suicide back in 2011, I believe. This organization was put into place to raise awareness about suicide. Let's start off with learning a little bit about you guys. Lorraine, you're Hayley's mom.
Yes.
That title never changes. And of course, you're also the executive director over at the Hayley's Hope Foundation. Let's learn a little bit about yourself and why you're here today.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised here in Lynn. I lived here until 2004 and moved to Maine and lived there for about 10 years, and now I'm down in Georgia. So I've been around, and I grew up in a family of always helping people and being there for others. So I found that important to do that. And I unfortunately suffered losing my teenage daughter to suicide.
I'm sorry to hear that. Of course, we are here for that subject. Obviously, we want to raise awareness because one of the things that you had mentioned to me before the show, that if you're not educated about it, there's really no way to tell. So that's why we're here today, to make people aware. The spring is the height of the season in regards to teen suicide. I think we had talked before that it's a number 3 killer among teens. Yes. So it's a serious subject. We're here to talk about it and hopefully raise some awareness. Now, Kristen, you're one of 3 directors over at Hayley's Hope. You're also Hayley's aunt. Let's learn a little bit about yourself and why you're here today.
Okay. I was born and raised in Lynn, still live here in Lynn. I'm the youngest of 3 sisters. Our other sister is Leslie, who's the other director, who's not, unfortunately not here today. But my function with Hayley's Hope Foundation is to provide the support on our website and on Facebook. I also have been in touch with teens when they may have any questions or concerns of others that may be suicidal. And which Facebook is a huge tool. We've actually gone international because of that.
Wow.
We've reached out to Ireland, a couple of people in China, Australia, and it's a huge networking tool for us right
Absolutely.
now.
I mean, I just on behalf of them, I don't want to speak for the whole community, but I'm sure anybody who's watching at home is appreciative of what you guys are doing. The fact that you had to deal with a teen suicide is something that not a lot of people can express in words, and I'm sure you can't either. But to just get over it and push through and then get through that struggle and then develop a foundation in hopes to help other people, I mean, that in itself is an unselfish act, and I want to commend you guys on that.
Thank you.
So continue doing what you're doing. We're going to learn a little bit about the organization. We have Mary Tang here. She is a Master of Science over at the Lynn Community Health Center. She's a mental health counselor. She's here today to talk a little bit about the brain and how that all functions. But first, let's learn a little bit about who you are, Mary.
I started working at Lynn Community Health Center since 2012. Before that, I worked in Beach Hospital. In Lynn Community Health Center, I mainly work with children, adolescents, adults, and families with a whole range of mental health problems, anxiety, depression, substance abuse problems, family issues. So I'm here to support the community and to bring more understanding to teenager depression, anxiety, and what's the cause to lead to suicide.
Absolutely, good stuff. The brain is an interesting thing. I think there's something like 6 billion neurons in our brain, and they're always working. But just like the word that you had said that stood out to me was understanding. We deal with people every single day, everybody at home, people who host TV shows, people at foundations, and also mental health counselors, that you're really not sure why they're acting so. And you're not sure why they're upset, or why they may be sad. And understanding that, I think, is without a doubt the first step that you have to do. So your field is very interesting to me, and what you do and how you help people. And the most amazing part is how you help them recognize the problem. That way that they can face it head on, which is pretty interesting to me. Aside from that, let's learn about the foundation. Hayley's Hope, this came into play when? When did you guys start the organization?
We started thinking about it in May of 2011, and we pretty much decided and had the ball rolling in June, just about 2 months after Hayley died.
Okay, so you got right on it. Wow,
yes,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
because people were listening. Hayley, I don't know if you have any pictures ready to pop up to show of her.
I think we
She's
do.
just has this personality, this magnetic look about her that grabbed people's attention ever since she was a baby. She had that ability. We'd be walking through the mall when she was, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months old. People from the other side of the walkway would come over and make a point to say, "Oh, what a beautiful baby." And meanwhile, they had their own baby in their own carriage, and it's like, hello. So I found it baffling, but it just seems both of us, our whole lives were set up to do this because of the magnetic personality she had, the reach she had. As I said, we lived in Lynn and moved to Maine, and I had a farm in Maine, so we did farmers markets and fairs, and we were involved with another event called Soul Fest, a Christian music festival, for several years volunteering. So she knew thousands of people. She had every day different people she'd hang out with because she knew so many people.
Wow.
And texting, thank goodness they had unlimited texting because she was constantly on the phone texting people. She just knew so many people. She had an amazing reach, and these people were all affected. And that's kind of, I'll lead into how we started with all these teens knowing what happened and feeling Hayley was their go-to person. She would give them advice and help them get through their days, brighten their days up. And they thought she had it together. And they're feeling suicidal or anxious or worried about themselves. And they feel, if Hayley could do this, well, I can too. I'm scared. And I'd get phone calls, or even at the wake, people would say that, or kids would say that to me. And it's like, how do I get through this? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that would be a great subject for Mary to take on. I mean, here we are, we're talking about Hayley, who is a beautiful person, made an impact in thousands of people's lives daily. And then she goes and makes a decision that may not even be her own. Mary, what's going on in the mind? Somebody who has such a depth of impact, why would they make this decision?
There are many causes to it. We can say probably for a lot of people, maybe issue with school, families, relationships, or anything along the lines can cause a teen to think along the line. But many people do think hurting themselves or even to the point killing themselves, but not everybody does that, but some do. What's really going on in their mind is that they think there's no way out. When they are in this dark place, they think nothing can help me.
No, what do you say to somebody who, I mean, if they come out right and say that to you, I just don't feel like there's a way out, and this is the only way out. What do you say to somebody?
I think first of all, be calm and to stay with that person. Listen to that person. What is going on? What are you feeling now? What are you going to do? Do you have any plans? Is there anything I can do to help you? For some teens, if they go to their friends and say, I'm thinking about hurting myself, I'm thinking about even to take the pills or something, sometimes friends would say, you? Well, I can't think you would do such a thing. You know, sometimes friends plays a very important role to be there for your friend when someone going through a very difficult time, be there with your friend. Say, what can I do to help?
What do you got?
I was going to say, with our experience, I mean, we haven't been trained. We're not counselors. We're more of like an intermediate group or stepping stone.
Right.
And we listen. And as Mary was saying, listen to talk to them. And we've noticed a big difference in their attitude and their behavior. Many teen suicides are an impulse act. 95% are an impulse that's given less than an hour thought. Most of them only 5 minutes of thought.
Wow.
So being there when they feel that urge at that moment is critical. And
Holy
listening to
smokes.
them, acknowledging it. Most parents, we think different than teens. It's a scientifically proven fact that once you hit 23, 25, in that age area, your brain fully matures and it changes. So we think differently. And so when something's happening in a teenager's life, that's everything that's happening to them. It's their world. It envelops them. And they can't see a way out of that situation. They don't know what to do. They don't have enough life tools, life experience to know what to do. They go to their parent and explain it, and they're like, oh, just let it go, or you'll be fine next week. And it's like, no, this is happening now.
Yeah.
And when we talk to teens, that's what we're hearing what they're saying now. We're acknowledging that, yeah, that thing that happened to you today at school, yeah, that is horrible. They have no right doing that. But I'm not with that person right now. I can't reprimand them. I can't talk to them to make them stop. All I can do is help you get through it.
Right.
So yes, it is horrible. Yes, it stinks. You have to go through it. It's unfair that you have to go through this. But I'll be here with you. And we always say how much we care about them and how valuable they are. And many of these kids have never heard that. The ones that we've dealt with. They've never heard that they were important, they were valuable. And it's like, they say, really? And it's like, yes, you are. You are valuable. You are important. We want to talk to you tomorrow.
I think from just the human perspective, I mean, everybody wants to help somebody when it's convenient, right? But when you have to go out of your way, say, for instance, helping a friend move, it becomes a little bit more of a sacrifice. But when it comes down to it, empathy, I mean, like, that's a characterization that everybody possesses, but doesn't really choose to express. And I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, if they are suffering, it's not so much, hey, toughen up, get through it, you know, because that's what we do as adults. You know, kids' brains, they're not as mature. They don't have the capability of making those decisions. And they need reassurance that it's going to be okay. So I think you hit the nail on the head. Now, Kristen, you're Hayley's aunt. You're one of 3 directors over there. Let's talk a little bit about how you're involved with the organization.
Okay. I was just going to continue about this subject on when a youth does speak to another friend or anything, a lot of them are asked, don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And that's the one key thing that we need to really get out there and have them know. No, you make sure you tell a trusted adult, whether it's your parent, your clergy, your teacher, your football coach. It doesn't matter. It could be the janitor. Lacrosse coach. It could be your janitor at the school.
Yeah.
Every adult has that sense, okay, why are you telling me this? Okay, let's go and find out a little bit more information about this. Even if they're not versed in suicide themselves, every suicide needs to be taken seriously. And people that have attempted a suicide, some people will say, oh, they're just doing it for attention. They're not serious. Every case is serious. There's something there that needs to be addressed. And you just don't say, oh, they'll be fine. No, that person is asking for help, but in a different way, and it is serious.
That's what happened with Hayley. A lot of friends, she said it many times, and her friends didn't take her serious.
Wow.
Because they were like, how could Hayley, who's always so bright and bubbly, be meaning this?
I want to get into some of the success that the organization has had, but since we're on the subject, I kind of want to bounce us off Mary. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I truly believe that, you know, every mental disability out there, each person has or can possess that without even being aware of it. Is thought of suicide, I mean, is that something that's prevalent in everybody, or is it just a specific type of person?
Probably more common than not, a lot of people will have that kind of thought. Doesn't have to be anything drastic happen. Doesn't have to be anything bad.
Right.
We just don't talk about it.
Right.
But for kids, teenagers, their brain is constantly changing, and their life is they're dealing with a lot of stress.
Right.
Nowadays. So when they encounter some difficulties in their life, they start to have a low grade, probably anxiety, depression, and then probably after a while, the parents will see them not eating well, not sleeping well, or maybe sleep too much, or begin to isolate themselves, or they just don't do anything they used to like to do. Their friends calling them, they don't talk to their friends, they don't text their friends anymore.
Is all this partner with you? This is stuff that you guys recognize?
A lot of the warnings.
So I just want to point out to our viewers at home, obviously the subject is serious. And if you're going through any of this or you're experiencing any of this with somebody who you love, it's absolutely 100% imperative that you reach out to somebody and try to find some help. Lorraine, you had mentioned to me before that you feel as though if you were educated on this, it wouldn't have happened. And it's like, as a person, you always kind of just wish you could go back in time, and it's something that you guys probably think about on a daily basis. So I mean, that in itself is just, it's difficult. I mean, I can empathize with you guys. Let's talk about the organization and some of the success it's had. This is a year-round thing. You guys have events all the time. I think it's outstanding what you do. You can feel the love. I mean, once you jump on the website, there's music playing. Beautiful words have been chosen to kind of explain what you guys do. In 2012, I think you won the CALM Award. Tell me about that. What is it?
It's Caring About Lives in Maine,
Okay.
CALME, and it was given to us for our efforts in the 10 months from the time we organized to the time of the award in April, the following April, of how many kids we'd reached and how many we'd helped. I believe at that time we'd positively impacted, was it about 17, 18 at that time?
20, I think, is what it says
It was,
online. Yeah.
well, it's 30-something now,
Oh, it's
but
out there.
at that time
Yeah.
of getting the award, I think it had been like 17, somewhere around there.
Yeah, impacted 21 teens here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And it was an honor. I had, the people that give the award is the Maine NAMI, National Alliance, is it for mental illness, and I had gone there for training for public speaking on suicide to like first responders or parents groups or whoever needed us, and that's how they learned about me. And then they started seeing what we'd done, and we'd already done a concert event, and I had spoken at that. I'd already spoken at a couple of different smaller organizations. We'd had teens getting in touch with us through Facebook or texting or calling me directly. I had parents, even from other states. We helped kids in Georgia, Massachusetts, Ohio, New Jersey.
New York,
oh,
Delaware.
yeah.
You guys are saving lives. I hope you know that.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. As much as you had said about going back in time, as much as
Right.
I'd love to go back and change it and have Hayley with me again, it just, I think of this girl, Peyton, the first girl that we had made an impact on. And oddly, Hayley's first best friend's name was Peyton, and she didn't know this girl. And I can't look, I'll start crying.
It's okay. It's a touchy subject.
This girl, I have permission from her family to tell the story. They had a mutual friend on Facebook. Those two had never met, though, Peyton and Hayley. And Peyton had decided on Sunday that she was going to take her life on Wednesday. And on Monday, Hayley had died. And Tuesday, I'd put it on Facebook because there was no way to get in touch with everybody that we both knew. Plus, I didn't want any of the kids, the teens, putting anything on and putting a misrepresentation. So I wanted to post it. And of course her friends and everybody started posting like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're gone, I'm going to miss you, or whatever. They started writing on her Facebook. Well,
Yeah.
this girl Peyton had seen it, and she started reading it. And so she sent me a message late Tuesday, early Wednesday morning, thanking me for putting that up because of what she saw. She changed her mind. She couldn't do that to her friends and family. And we stay in touch, and I always think of her. And I know Hayley would be happy that she helped somebody like that she prevented. And
Just
I know
the day
there's many
after.
others that have
Been impacted.
have been positively impacted by our involvement. But I always think of Peyton, the first one, because I'd hate to see her mother going through what I'm feeling. I can't have anybody else feeling this.
I mean, it's just what you guys are doing is just it's amazing to me. I mean, because it's I want to get a little off subject, but I mean, I'm just kind of trying to build a foundation here. Yesterday we had this is a big month for the Cambodian personnel here in Lynn. The Khmer New Year is a huge thing here, and it's an outstanding culture, and they're very family oriented. They are Buddhists, so Buddha is the guy that they go to for guidance. And through my research, one of the things that Buddha had said was struggle brings strength. And I think knowing that earlier on as a kid who's optimistic about growing up big and strong can be a benefit. I definitely think so. But I mean, what you guys are doing and the time that you give up is amazing. Mary, I want to bounce this off you. Is this typical? So aside from what you deal with people hands-on, their families, the aftermath, do they usually reach out and try to help other people as much as these guys are?
A lot of families do, but that really depends on each family. Each family, how they deal with the loss of their loved ones is very different. So, but it's always very helpful for family like your family to outreach to other families. Twitters, Facebooks are wonderful tools.
Thank you.
Social media is huge nowadays. I mean, you can get a message out to 1,000 people in a matter of seconds, which I've always kind of thought was pretty neat. Now, Hayley's Hope, if you're just joining us at home, Hayley's Hope is an organization developed in part by Lorraine, who is Hayley's mom, and Kristen, who is Hayley's aunt. Mary is a mental health counselor over at the Lynn Community Health Center. She's here to talk to us a little bit about what's going on in the brain. I just want to kind of reserve this time. We've got so much time left. You guys have some events coming up. From my research, the most recent one is going to be on May 3rd. This is Pink Carnation Day.
Yep.
This is a nationwide type of thing, right?
Well, we
Yes.
encourage nationwide.
Okay. But
May
it's
3rd.
you started it.
Yes, May 3rd is Hayley's birthday. And her first birthday after she died, which is actually one day less than a month from her death, we wanted to do something positive because there's just so much sadness around her death.
Right.
And we wanted to do something positive because that's what she always did, was brighten people's days, texting in the morning all her friends, good morning sunshine, have a nice day, randomly hugging people in the hallway. And so my other sister, Leslie, came up with, well, what about like the Heart Association Daffodil Days? Why don't we do carnations? Since Hayley liked carnations so much, why don't we give out carnations? So the high schools that Hayley attended, she had gone to Lynn Tech here for a year, and then of course she had her high school in Maine, and she also went to a vocational school half days her junior year. So those 3 schools we brought flowers to and donated them to give them out, and they had an amazing impact at those schools that the students would pass them to other students to brighten up their day. That was the premise of it. It's not a boyfriend-girlfriend thing. It's to brighten someone's day. And we have continued that every year. And the students look forward to it. The teachers, the staff, they all look forward to us doing it. And we ask other organizations to join in. Our banks have done it. Individuals have bought them and brought them to their place of employment. Toys R Us had contacted us a couple of years ago about participating.
And then actually this year we'll be doing the schools, the 3 Lynn Tech, the 2 up in Maine on May 2nd. But also Seaport Salon and Day Spa over on the Linway is a huge supporter of ours, and she also has a bunch of carnations you can go in and purchase for just $1, and that will go back into our scholarship fund that we
Oh,
we
great.
provide in Haley's memory.
You guys are making so many
So if you
impacts.
can't get to a floral shop, stop by over there. So we'll gladly help you out. And
I can't commend you guys enough on what you do. I mean, you go through something as traumatic as this, and I mean, you know, Mary can speak on it firsthand. She deals with it every day. It's just the amount of sadness that there was. You guys turned around and you're like, you know what, forget this. We're going to try to make an impact. We're going to go out there and try to do something positive and make people aware about this. And congratulations on doing what you do. Don't stop. Do what you're doing. Do what you're doing. You're saving lives by the day. And again, I can't thank you guys enough. That's our show for today.
Thank you.
From the LynnCAM TV show, we have the leadership from Hayley's Hope, as well as Mary Tang, mental health counselor of the Lynn Community Health Center. I'm Sean Donahue. That's our show for today. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to tune in next time.
Thank you.